Let's look at this from a homeowner's perspective, because this is where most contractors get stuck without realizing. A homeowner doesn't open Facebook because they're looking for a contractor. They're checking in on family, they're watching funny videos, they're looking at photos of friends, they're relaxing after a long day, or killing time in a waiting room somewhere. And then your ad appears, which means your ad is interrupting an experience they were having. And the question that runs through their mind in that split second is incredibly simple. Why should I stop scrolling and pay attention to this? This is the real challenge, not the budget, not the platform, attention. Because if you don't earn attention in the first 2 or 3 seconds, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter how good your company actually is. It doesn't matter how many years of experience you have, or how skilled your crew is, or how many 5-star reviews you've earned. If nobody stops to watch, the conversation never starts. And here's where most contractor ads go wrong. They're written from the contractor's perspective instead of the homeowner's perspective. The contractor thinks, we've been in business for 25 years. We do quality work, we offer free estimates, we have experienced crews, and on paper, those things are true. But homeowners have seen every single one of those claims from every other contractor in their market. Nothing stands out, nothing feels different, nothing makes them feel like this ad was made specifically for them. Think about what a homeowner is actually feeling when they're considering a major project. Let's say they're about to invest $100,000 to $150,000 into their home, a full home remodel, a custom build, a backyard transformation. They're not worried about whether contractors know how to build. They assume you know how to build. That's the baseline. What they're worried about is hiring the wrong contractor. They're worried about communication breaking down 2 months into a project. They're worried about budget overruns and change orders they didn't see coming. They're worried about living in a construction zone for 4 months longer than what they were promised. They're worried about making a 6-figure decision they're going to regret. So when they see an ad that says quality workmanship or free estimates available, it doesn't address any of those real concerns. It doesn't reduce any of the risk they're feeling. And it doesn't answer the question that's quietly running through their mind the entire time. Why should I trust these people with my home and money? That's why ads are ignored. Not because they're poorly designed, not because Facebook algorithms failed, because the message wasn't speaking in the homeowner's reality. It was speaking to the contractor's ego. Here's what I've learned about running hundreds of contractor campaigns at Apex Operations. Homeowners don't respond to claims nearly as much as they respond to proof. There's a massive difference between telling someone you're good and showing them why you're good. Let me give you a quick example of what that actually looks like in practice. Imagine 2 ads running side by side. The first one says, we're the leading remodeling contractor in the Bay Area, call now for a free estimate. The second one says, this homeowner had a kitchen that hadn't been touched in 20 years. The family had outgrown the space completely. Here's how we redesigned the entire layout, rebuilt it, the studs out, and turned it into a centerpiece of their home on time and on budget. The second ad wins almost every time. Not because it's clever or fancy, because it's believable. It tells a story, it shows real problem, a real solution, and a real outcome. That is what homeowners connect with, not marketing language, outcomes. And one of the biggest mistakes we see contractors make is reaching for stock photos, generic images, or AI generated images when they already have something far more powerful sitting in front of them. Real projects, real homeowners, real transformations, real stories. The closer your marketing gets to reality, the easier it becomes for a homeowner to picture themselves trusting you, and that trust is what drives the lead. At Apex Operations, one of our core philosophies we operate by is this: we don't run ads, we run experiments. Because before you could scale a campaign, you need to understand what the homeowners actually respond to. And that answer is almost never what the contractor expects going in. A contractor might assume homeowners care about craftsmanship, and sometimes that's true, but in a lot of markets, what homeowners actually respond to is communication, or speed, or the fact that your process is simpler and less disruptive than what they've heard from everyone else, or a financing option they didn't know was available, or just seeing a real person on camera explaining how the project works and what they should expect. The only way to know what's actually going to work in your specific market with your specific audience is to test. That means testing different angles, different offers, different project types, different creatives, different hooks in the first 2 to 3 seconds, and then doubling down on what the data is telling you is working. Every month, we're testing messaging, audiences, creatives, and the follow-up sequence, not because we don't know what works, but because the market is always shifting and the contractors who stay ahead are the ones who never stop optimizing. Another thing we see consistently is this: contractors have real competitive advantages that they're not communicating. Better service, better systems, better communications, faster delivery, stronger project management. But when they look at their ads, none of that is visible. The homeowners can't see the difference between you and the next company. And if the homeowner can't see the difference, then as far as they're concerned, there is no difference. That's why creatives matter so much. That's why message matters so much, because the best campaigns often win before the homeowner ever clicks, because trust started building the moment the ad appeared in their feed. Let me give you a quick example of what this framework actually looks like when it's applied to a real client. We worked with a full service remodeling company, Equity Construction, where the approach was straightforward. We led with a project video, a real home, a real transformation, walking through the front yard, the backyard, the kitchen, the bathrooms, the contractor on camera explaining what the homeowner wanted, the challenges that came up, and what the outcome was. Nothing was scripted to the point of being stiff, just a real story delivered on camera. The contractor closed over $1 million in new projects within the first 3 months of running campaigns, not because we had some complicated strategy, because the ad gave homeowners a reason to stop, a reason to trust, and a reason to reach out. We had another client, Mazzacapa Concrete, who closed over $300,000 their first month using the same framework applied to their niche. Different market, different products, same fundamental principles, real proof, real stories, real humans on camera. Here's an exercise I want you to try before you spend another dollar on advertising. Open Facebook or Instagram, start scrolling, pay attention to what actually makes you stop, and then ask yourself, would my ad compete with this? Would it grab attention? Would I actually watch it if I didn't know it was mine? Because if the honest answer is no, then you already know where the problem is. Not in your targeting, not in your budget. The problem started before the campaign ever launched. The good news is this is fixable, and it usually doesn't require more money. It requires better creative, better messaging, and a willingness to show your real work to real people in a way that speaks directly to what they're actually worried about. So here's what I want you to take from this video. Most contractor Facebook ads don't fail because of targeting. They don't fail because Facebook stopped working. They fail because they never gave a homeowner a real reason to care in the first place. The messaging wasn't clear, the creative didn't build trust, and without trust, people keep scrolling and the contractor keeps wondering why the phone isn't ringing. The contractors who win with paid advertising aren't necessarily spending the most money. They have better creative, better messaging, better proof, and they're willing to keep testing until they find what actually moves the needle in their specific market. If you are a contractor who wants to generate better leads, improve the quality of your advertising, build a system that reflects the actual quality of work you do, book a strategy call with our team. The link is in the description. We'll walk you through your current ads, identify where homeowners are losing interest before they even reach out, and show you what a campaign built around real competitive advantages could look like. I'm Jose with Apex Operations. Drop your biggest Facebook ads question in the comments. I read all of them. Subscribe for more content on contractor marketing, lead generation, and building a construction business that attracts the right clients. We'll see you on the next one.